Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Transportation. Transportation is the process of conveying goods and people from one place to another, either through water, road, rail, or air. Transportation plays crucial roles in commercial activities because people that are geographically separated are brought together by transportation. The importance of transportation includes 1. Widening of the firm's market. This is because transportation has the ability to extend a firm's market for the sales of the firm's product. It aids the movement of people and goods to the interior, thereby widening its market. Transportation encourages international trade. This is because transport by air and sea has greatly promoted and encouraged trading activities between one country and another. Transportation also helps in the effective and efficient distribution of goods and services to areas where they are needed. Transportation helps to prevent the wastage of perishable goods by ensuring the quick distribution of these perishable goods to areas where they are needed. Transportation has helped to move productive resources from areas where they are available to areas where they can be put to adequate use. The improved means of transport is an essential ingredient in the development of division of labor and specialization, which make mass production possible. There is improved standard of living because goods and services are made available at the right time and right place through improved transportation. There is also the development of rural areas because transportation has greatly encouraged the development and growth of the rural areas of a country. Transport facilitates the movement of goods and persons from one place to another. Transportation also influences the location of industries. Transportation creates employment opportunities by employing lots of people, thereby enabling them to earn a living. Factors that determine the choice of transportation include the nature of goods, the cost, the weighty or bulky goods, the availability, the value of goods, the distance involved, the urgency, the speed, and convenience. The nature of goods to be transported will determine the means of transportation to be used. Perishable and fragile goods, for example, are better handled by fast means of transportation like aircraft, while bulky goods are better handled by ship or rail. The overall cost of transport will also affect the choice of transportation. Air transport is costly while rail is cheaper. Weighty or bulky goods. Goods that are heavy and bulky are better moved by road, rail, and sea, while light goods are best suited for air transport. The choice of transport can also be determined by the type of transportation available in the area. For example, in the riverine areas, the best means of transportation is through water. Commodities with high values like jewelry are better transported by air so as to reduce theft. The distance involved also helps to determine the choice of transportation. The distance involved also determines the choice of transportation, in that when the distance is long, the best means of transportation are water and air, irrespective of the cost, while road transportation is good over short distances. Goods that require urgency in delivery are better handled by fast means of transportation. The choice of the consumer will go a long way to determine the means of transportation to be used. The speed of the means of transportation will also be considered. Perishable goods, for example, are better handled by fast means of transportation. How convenient it is for the businessman is also to be considered. How convenient it is also affects the choice of transportation that will be chosen. There are different forms of transportation. We have transportation by land, water, air, and pipeline. Transportation by land is the means of conveying goods and passengers from one place to another through land. Land transport can be divided into road and rail transport. Road transport is the movement of goods and passengers on road by motor vehicles like buses, trailers, cars, motorcycles, etc. It is the most extensively used of all the means of transportation. Advantages of road transport are low maintenance cost. It is faster on short journeys. There is high degree of flexibility since there is no fixed time schedule. Goods are delivered at the door of the consumer, therefore offering door-to-door services, which makes it convenient for the owners of the goods. Road transport is good for conveying perishable goods, for example, tomatoes, as it is fast and easily accessible. Road transport is also readily available for use. Unlike train, road transport has no special routes like rail tracks, runways, and terminals. Rail transport. Rail transport is the means of conveying goods and passengers from one place to another by train. Heavy and bulky goods are carried by train. Two types of trains can be easily identified. They are the passenger train and the goods train. The passenger train is used for carrying passengers from one place to another, while the goods train is used for conveying goods within the country. Transportation by water. Water transportation is the means of conveying goods and people from one place to another through rivers, seas, or oceans by ships, canoes, etc. This facilitates international trade between different nations because goods and passengers can be easily transferred. The Port Authority is responsible for providing facilities as well as management of the port. Ships are very large and can carry heavy and bulky cargoes like cars, trailers, industrial machineries, etc. There are different types of water transport. We have the inland water transport and the sea transport. The inland water transport is a type of water transport in which goods and people are moved from one place to another through the rivers, canals, creeks, and lakes. This type of water transport operates within a nation's borders. The sea transport. The sea transport ensures that cargoes and people are moved from one country to another. It is associated with seas and oceans. Since one port is connected to another, it aids international trade. The various means of transportation by sea are ocean liners, that is passenger and cargo liners, the coastal liners, and special purpose ship. Transportation by air. Transportation by air is the system of moving goods and passengers through the air by aeroplane, helicopters, etc. Air transport is very fast and comfortable, but it is expensive. Air transport has contributed greatly to commercial activities in international trade. Some airlines operating in Nigeria include the Nigerian Airways, the Cabo Airways, etc. Air transport requires some sophisticated gadgets for landing and taking off. Transportation by air is operated in the airport. Examples of airports in Nigeria are Kano and Lagos International Airports. The various means of transportation by air include planes, hovercrafts, helicopters, jets, and rockets. Air transports are comfortable and luxurious. Transportation by pipeline. Transport by pipeline is a system of transporting gases and liquid products from one place to another through the use of pipelines. Pipelines are constructed or laid underground as means of carrying water, gases, and petroleum products. In Nigeria, pipelines are constructed to transport crude oil from Warri to Kaduna refinery. Advantages of transport by pipeline includes low maintenance cost. It is cheap because of low maintenance cost. Since pipelines are laid underground, there is less possibility of accident. Therefore, pipeline transportations are safe. There is continuous flow of goods, as goods are moved over a long distance without obstruction. Pipeline transportation reduces the overcrowding of roads, as the number of tankers carrying liquids and gases will be greatly reduced on the road. Pipeline transportation is not easily affected by climatic changes. A carrier. A carrier is a firm of organization that specializes in transporting other people's goods. We have the common carrier, the private carrier, and the contract carrier. A common carrier is a person or firm who undertakes to transport goods from one place to another for anyone willing to pay a reasonable charge. They are open to the generality of the people. A common carrier is obliged by law to carry the goods safely and is liable for damage or loss to the goods. A common carrier can also be defined as a term used for a transport undertaking which compel them to carry any goods given to them at a reasonable charge to any destination. Examples of common carriers are motor vehicles that operate on highways. Functions of a common carrier are 1. To deliver goods to their destination, to be liable for loss or damage of the goods, to be obliged by law to carry the goods safely and securely. The contract carrier. The contract carrier is a public carrier which undertakes to transport goods from one place to another under contract. For example, the tanker fleet that transports oil to the oil depots. The private carrier. The private carrier helps to move his or its own goods from one place to another. For instance, a company car can be used to carry their products about. Containerization. Containerization is a method of freight handling in which general cargo is packed into large rectangular containers and carried in this form from a factory or inland depot by lorry or port. Uses of containers. Containers are used to reduce theft of goods. Containers are used to quicken loading in that it increases the speed of loading goods into a ship. It can be easily moved to their destination without being unpacked. Containers are used to protect goods against bad weather, etc. The use of containers reduces the cost of loading and offloading of goods because they are packed in containers. The charter party. A charter party is a contract whereby a ship or aircraft is temporarily released by the owner to another person or firm purposely to transport cargoes from one place to another. We have the time charter and the voyage charter. The time charter is the hiring of a ship for an agreed period rather than hiring for a particular voyage. The ship is chartered for a specific period, for example, 5 months. The voyage charter is a contract whereby the owner of a ship hires it out for a specific voyage rather than for a fixed period. Documents involved in transportation includes the bill of lading. As we've earlier discussed, the bill of lading is a document that gives the holder the right to acquire possession of goods that have been shipped. We have the certificate of insurance. This is a document which shows that the goods have been insured against risk or loss by the exporter. Airway bill is a document made out by the consignor of goods to be transported by air. It shows the names of the consignor and consignee, the airport of loading, and the value of the goods. The manifest is a document which shows the full list of the cargo carried by a ship or aircraft. This document is to be completed by the captain of the ship and lodged with the custom authorities, showing the particulars of the ship, its cargo, and destination. A shipping note is a document containing instructions for transporting the goods. It is sent to the shipping agent by the exporter. The delivery note is a document which normally accompanies the delivery of goods. It shows the goods delivered and checks to be made. We also have the consignment note. The consignment note is a document made out by the sender of goods, handed to the carrier, and countersigned by the consignee on delivery as a proof that delivery has been made. Some terminologies used in the transportation industry includes freight. Freight is a term used for the cost of shipping a particular cargo for a specific voyage. Dead freight. Dead freight is the freight paid on unoccupied space in the ship. If there is empty space left in the ship, the person that chartered must pay for the space not used. Charterer. A charterer is a person or firm that hires or charters a ship for a specific purpose. Consignment. Consignment are goods that are conveyed from one place to another, a shipment or delivery of goods. Consignee. A consignee is a person or organization to which goods are transported to through a carrier. Consignor. A consignor is the owner who sends goods to the consignee. Demurrage. Demurrage is an extra charge or penalty which the charterer pays for exceeding the period originally agreed upon. It is used in connection with charter party. Demurrage is normally calculated as a certain charge for each day a performance is delayed. It is the charge paid for failing to offload a ship within a stipulated time. The demise charter. Demise charter is a form of charter party where the charterer of a ship makes all the arrangements for working it. Therefore, in effect, for a period, it is owned by him. That is the period of charter.